All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kathy and Duke from the Life Stripes with Kathy and Duke show. And today we're going to talk about Nick Cannon.
Nick Cannon. So Duke, you have to tell me, because I have been desperately trying to find the actual podcast where you had this conversation. Please tell me the gentleman's name that he had this conversation with. In fact, if you can explain, sorry?
No, so most people know Professor Grip because if you were a hip hop junkie and you're from the old school late 80s and 90s, you would have listened religiously to Public Enemy.
Public Theory.
Of
Okay.
course, everybody knows Chuck D from Public Enemy, and of course the popular, very popular Flavor Flav, Flavor Love. So those were the two mainstays on Public Enemy. But you also had the priest, the Professor Griff. And that's
I didn't know him he's not familiar to me. His name doesn't just
Well, Professor Griff was a member of the famous rap group Public Enemy as well. But of course, most people knew Chuck D and Flavor Flav because they were the names that were at the front. They were the more out there, the more popular names on that brand.
Right. Okay. Good. Okay. Got it.
So a year ago, Nick Cannon had Professor Griff as a guest on the Nick Cannon show, his podcast, and they were talking about basically Black people, the lineages of of Black people, kings and queens and greatness, and how Africa was really full of riches and pride and a whole lot of stuff. And then they started talking about, of course, our pigmentation, melanin.
Yeah.
So they were talking about that, and about Caucasians from Europe coming over, basically, let's call it out, pillaging the village. You know what I mean?
Right. Exerting power where because they felt fearful in the whole bit. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So they were so that was the bulk of the conversation.
Right.
So then Nick Cannon was basically giving his opinion, saying, hey, the white Europeans came over, were savages. They came over, they did all these things to our people. Basically, white supremacy, and he basically mentioned the Jews as well in his argument.
Right. That we are the true chosen people.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
got it.
And that notion's been going on for a long time.
Forever.
You've heard people say that all the time. So he made that statement. It was a year ago. It wasn't something like last week.
This is 2019. See, because this is why I was, in trying to do our homework for these shows, I was like, okay, where is the interview? Where is the podcast for people to see?
Still out there. He took it down from his platform.
Okay, I've seen bits and pieces.
Well, the full hour and a half is out there. I found it. If you just Google Nick Cannon and Professor Griff, some other social outlets have posted it on their show.
Okay.
Hours. If you really want to see it. It is there.
Got it. Okay.
And I think it's important. I think it's important for people to go back and look at the entire so you can make your own judgment of if it was a hate comment or not.
Right.
What happened?
I think from what I'm understanding, with all of his comments and stuff, and he was echoing Griff, so obviously he agreed with him and used his own examples in terms of Jewish people owning a lot of media, and they do, and I don't think that that's a secret. You know what I mean?
It's not a
right.
secret. It's not.
And what's that? Sorry?
No, it's not a secret, and it is factual. It is factual.
It's very factual. It is what it is. This is the empire that they've created.
Yes,
and there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. And so I think when they talk about it, him spreading hate and whatnot, I think what he's done is he has stereotyped a certain group of people. Well, some people would say that he stereotyped it when he's talking about how, white people came and they were, because they don't have the melanin in their skin, they felt as if they were powerless. And so the only way to feel powerful was to do all the horrible things, hence them becoming savages towards Black people, to exert power, because we are powerful beings just by way of our essence and our melanin. And so I understood that point. And I think, by him, the world we live in today, 2020, COVID, Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, Breonna Lee, like all of that stuff is just add to every Black person on the planet wanting to tell their story, wanting the world to understand that this isn't happening because of today. It's not happening because of 20 years ago. It's not happening because of 50 years ago. This is really happening because it's been centuries old. And these are old stories. Like I don't think he said anything new. So I find it very fascinating that Viacom took such offense to his comments and to, conversation that him and Griff were having. Like, I just don't get it. And it's funny because Fox is even in agreement, not in agreement, but they're a little bit more like, okay, we hear where you're coming from. So I was like, what? Yeah. Whereas Viacom, I'm like, and I'm hearing that the fact that they took such a stance and such a position in letting him go, maybe a little bit it's a bit too much too soon without having conversations with him.
Yeah,
and
I think it's one of those things that the world has gotten a lot sensitive.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And because Viacom and a lot of other media outlets are afraid of backlash.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know what?
From sponsors and whatnot.
Cut our losses so the world can see, hey, we did something. We're not supporting what he said. We did something. He's not with us. We don't stand by what he said. Let's just sever our ties with Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
What's important?
Yeah, but go ahead.
What's important here, though, is, and this is what really I got from this. Nick Cannon, you don't own the rights to Wilding Out. I think for every content creator, owner who is getting into film and television or is creating a show or producing a show, please get the rights to your show.
Please. Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
I know P. Diddy has reached out and has said,
TV,
right? Says, hey, Nick, you can come over here.
Yeah.
But then you'd have to create a brand new show.
Yes, because
you don't
own it. Yeah, exactly.
It's a popular show in the States. Right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a $1 billion show. Absolutely.
So
one of the things
to see that.
Absolutely. No, he definitely needs to go after that. If nothing else, he needs to. I wish he had gone after it sooner and not had this to be the catalyst to do that. But, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And his saying now is, you can't fire a boss. I love that. Like, want the t-shirt, want the hat. Like, that's awesome. And it's true. You can't fire a boss because the boss is just going to take his shit, create more shit, and move on and do fabulous things.
I do agree. But at the same time, again, I've got to now look at it differently, because when it first came out, Nick Cannon was like, well, I'm not, the master wants me to apologize, and I'm not apologizing, and I'm not doing this, and I'm not doing that.
Okay.
But then you end up apologizing anyways.
Well, I think he apologized because at the end of the day, he doesn't want people to feel like, he's spreading hate. And that's pretty much what they said, that he's spreading hate. And I don't think anything that Nick Cannon has ever done has been about hate. This is about knowledge and understanding and compassion. And, people, let's call, it is what it is. So let's have dialogue about this. You may have been offended, and that's fine. But it's like, us as Black people, where people don't understand, the idea of Black Lives Matter and why we keep just Black Lives Matter at this point in time. It's about asking us questions and understanding. You may have your own whatever about, why are they only saying that? And that's fine, but at least begin a dialogue. And I think that that's what Nick meant, in the sense of, I'm going to apologize because I did not want to offend anybody. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I want you guys, if you are offended, if you know me, and I think with Viacom, he's like, but you guys know me. You know what's in my spirit. You know what's in my heart. And for you to believe that I'm spreading hate, that's just not okay. Right. But I apologize.
No, but what I'm saying is, you can say anything these days.
Yeah.
It's going to offend somebody.
Well,
right?
yes, but I mean, Duke, it's like me saying,
We're not gonna offend somebody.
yeah, but it's like me saying, I don't know, your glasses, like, why are you wearing those today? And you'll be like, why? Like, what's up? You don't like them? They don't look good on camera? And I'll be like, no, you know what? I like the ones you wore last week because they were non-glare and whatever. It's
Right.
with love. It's trying to make everybody better. It's you know what I mean? Like, it's a
I
stupid
get
example.
that, but then I'm not
You know,
asking you to apologize that you don't like my glasses. You know what I'm saying?
but no, but the thing is that if someone else,
I may
if
get offended, like, oh man, she doesn't like my glasses, but
right, but here's the
that's
thing
your
now.
opinion.
Yeah, but if you're like, yeah, well, I don't want to work with her anymore, whatever, I'm going to be like, listen, I did not say it to offend you. So I apologize if that's how you took it. But if you know me, you know that I'm not saying it to offend you. And I think that once again, that was his point where you guys know me. I have worked with you for so long. He has given them his heart, blood, sweat, tears, the whole bit. And he's made them a lot of friggin' money.
Of dollars.
Right?
He was the youngest writer for Nickelodeon.
Yes.
Come on.
That's what I'm saying. So,
And
listen.
they pay you, Nick. Never go back to that. If you go back, Nick, I'm offended.
I mean, without ownership of that show, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, if he goes back, he better apologize to me because I'll be offended.
But I mean, black people are coming down on him too, right? Because that's what he's an ungrateful, Negro. I don't say the other word. So, listen, I'm sure white and black are coming down on him. But
Right.
oh, man, this is a tough one because, we as black people, we want to speak our piece and we want, the world to hear and we want everyone to ask questions and get educated and stuff like that. And unfortunately, it's going to be a two-way street where it's like, y'all can't say anything about us, but we can't say anything about you,
Right.
and I think that that's where, everybody has to just be really, really mindful. And the fact that the owner of Viacom won't even call him back, like, that's like, ooh, wow, that's not okay. You know what I mean? So
I'll say this to all of our audience and guests and fans and whoever: be careful what you say out there, even if it's 10 years.
Absolutely, you have to be very, very careful with what you say out there because everybody is listening, and emotions are running really high.
Yeah,
What's that?
Somebody could pull up an old show, old episode you did, and like, oh my gosh, yeah, we're not hiring you because you said this.
Right. Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Like,
We all just have to be
look at Kevin Hart too, right? When he said what he said, I think it was like 10, 12 years ago, right?
Yeah. When
the hosting gig.
Yeah. Has it been that long?
Well, when he made that comment, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, I know, but it doesn't feel like it's been that long. Wow, 10 years, okay. Yeah. Wow.
And he apologized back then, and they were asking him to apologize
more.
Again.
And he's like, I already apologized. Like, come on now. So yeah. I agree. And and Nick Cannon brings up another point in I think it was his Twitter feed. He wrote a long rant, Truth and Reconciliation, I think what he called it. And he also mentioned, that NBC with Gabrielle Union and America's Got Talent and how he walked away from that. So obviously there's something going on even within that show, and people are walking away with integrity intact, and I commend them for that. And even with doing all of that and giving up all that money, they're silenced. You know what I mean? And so with the insurgence of Black Lives Matter and, George Floyd passing and all that kind of stuff, it's given, Gabrielle Union and everybody else this voice, and I think that we have to take it, and Nick is going to say what he has to say. He's a powerful force, powerful being. Don't think he wants to offend anybody. And if telling the truth is offensive to people, then as we know, we continue to have a problem.
Yeah, well, it also shows that we need our own networks. We need more.
Well, we definitely need our own networks, but we do live in a world with many nationalities of people, and we do have to get along. We really have to get along. We got to learn to get along, and communicate. Sure, and I'm not. Of course, I would never say no. But I'm saying we still have to get along. We still have to be able to communicate. And if we are feeling offended, we have to open our mouths and say, come on, let's have a sit down. Let's hash this out. Let's talk. Let's learn, as opposed to everybody getting fired here, fired there, fired there. People will talk about, well, Jessica Mulroney got fired because she sent a private message. I get it. Okay. And even that, as much as, she's a public figure and she really probably shouldn't have threatened someone's livelihood, and she took a lot of, what's that?
She definitely shouldn't have. She
no.
used her power to try to get what she wanted, and
She wanted, yeah.
and for the fact that she sent an email, I mean, you're just,
Yeah.
you set
The
yourself
personal
up.
attack.
That person has proof. Here's what you said.
What you said, yes. And so as much, I don't condone and I don't appreciate anything she did, but what she is also doing is she's apologized and she's getting educated about it. You know how the network chose to deal with her, that's it is what it is. And so for Nick, I say, listen, you spoke your truth, there was a repercussion, there was a consequence that came with that. And so I know he's going to do amazing things. You cannot fire a boss. So I look forward to what he's going to do next, because like a Jessica, she too will come out of this, hopefully, you know, smarter, wiser, better. And so will Nick. And I know Nick is going to be unstoppable now because I think he's just pissed. So, you know, so yeah, I look forward to see what's next.
I'm interested to see what Nick Cannon does next. I know he still has the job, Masked Singer, so they didn't let him go from that. So he still has that gig going on. But I'm interested to see what happens and where Viacom even goes from here. What are they going to do with Wiling Out? Who are you going to replace Nick Cannon with? Are people going to watch it now because Nick Cannon's not the guy, right?
Not doing, yeah, exactly. I mean,
who takes on that role? Because I think there might even be backlash with that, saying, "Hey, no, you shouldn't be
shouldn't take it."
Right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be very interesting. So I'm watching this, and I'm watching to see how this all pans out. Yeah, definitely. Well, what about Mariah Carey thinks?
I know, right? Well, I will say the moral of this story is, be careful of what you say on social media, on other platforms, because they will stay with you for life.
For life. Yes, absolutely. This does not go away. You put stuff on video and print and spread it to the world. You press send. Anything can happen, people. Nope.
That's it.
Right?
Well, it's been great. Kathy, good seeing you always. Here's another episode of Like with Kathy and you guys. If you like what you're talking, please hit that like button and smash the subscribe. Peace.
Peace out.